Hello, everyone. I was trying to write a post about kind of what I already said, like the Queen of Hearts, accepting yourself completely, which is very hard. And it's like I kind of want to go on that topic about the darker side of myself and the lighter self and the duality of those. Um, I do feel like when it comes to my darker side, there's many things when it comes to those things. I feel like there's a level of dark and then there's a level that gets darker. And I'm not going to try to make it sound like, you know, dark aspect of a person is bad. I just feel like there needs to be a balance between it. There needs to be an embracement of who you are, whether it's the dark aspect of yourself or the light aspect. I do feel like a lot of people look at the darkness as something to be feared, something not to want to entertain or be influenced by, which I get it. Everyone can believe whatever they want to believe. But for me, one thing that's really I find fascinating about like the whole thing about the Queen of Hearts is she got really mad when people um when it when it do things her way. I do feel like there's a negative aspect of her, and there's actually a quality that I love about her, and the fact that she may be a crazy psycho or whatever, but I do feel like if she is balanced right, she can be empowered as a woman and have confidence and live in a state of um, being who she truly is. Now, the post that I was writing, and for some reason the post didn't even go because it was connected with my profile picture, is on this topic of the darker aspect of myself, which is the dark, and the light aspect or the lighter aspect of myself. And I was writing as the post, I was talking about, there's within everyone, well, I didn't really use that term, but in my mind, there's within all of us a dark part of ourselves and a light aspect inside, which is the masculine and the feminine. They cannot coexist without the other. And I feel like a lot of people can easily go to their feminine side or easily go to their masculine. It just depends on where they're brought up and how things happen in the home setting. And I do feel like, and I've talked about this topic about like the masculine, but maybe not in detail. When it comes to the masculine side of us, it's about taking action. It's about um, bringing order to a situation. Now, I recently heard a while back that when it comes to the feminine energy, it is about creativity. It's about, um, it can be about emotions, being a nurturer to people, like a mother in some way, but it's also like the woman or the feminine energy came from chaos, which is almost like the black hole, I feel like. Recently heard about that. And I find it fascinating that when you combine both of these energies, the masculine and the feminine, what it is, the masculine, like I said, brings in order and balance. And while the feminine, with her emotions and it could be sensuality about herself, it could be emotions, it could be a part of herself that wants to create something in her life, which is all about feminine, and wants to nourish something or nurture someone or something. Um, but it's about maintaining that. Like when it comes to the masculine, he's all about structure, order, action, going forward, and how the feminine the aspect of yourself, the feminine aspect She is chaos. Her emotions are like the ocean. Kind of like with me being a Cancer, is like the ocean of emotions and the phases of the moon and the tides and stuff and the ebb and flow of things. And I honestly feel like a lot of people, some people, it can go either way. Some men tend to be more feminine, or they have qualities of a feminine aspect, which is not a bad thing. I just feel like it can go the other way with female. She can have more masculine traits, which is not a bad thing. Maybe like she's more vocal, aggressive, dominant, or she's more authority based and more like in control of her emotions, like a man. But I do feel like both of those can go out of balance, and I feel like the way to balance in some way your chakras, which is the energy force that flows within our body, which that's for another time, another topic. But I want to share with you kind of a little bit of what I was writing as a post. I don't want it to be too long and drawn out, but just to help people if they're struggling with this, um, that maybe it will be a help to those who wants more understanding about balancing your masculine and feminine side. I do feel like all of us have those traits within us, but we have more of maybe something, maybe more the feminine aspect of ourselves or more the masculine, which is more of the leader aspect, brings order and balance to things in a situation or relationship. Um, but like I said, my post was simply on that topic, and I wanted to cover a little bit other stuff too. Um, like the Queen of Heart, she's a woman who's in control of her emotions. Now, she does have the bad quality where, if something is not the way she wants it, she wants to cut people's heads off. And I feel like in some way that's my negative quality is, when things don't go my way or people do certain things, I want to cut their heads off. Not like physically, but like it annoys me with people sometimes. And I feel like too, when it comes to the things, when it comes to friendships, and I've been thinking about this for about a year and a half, is because I touched on a little bit of friendships. I do feel like, it's not about the quantity of friends, it's about the quality of friends. And I feel like for a year and a half I've gone through this period where it seems like I would have friends, and then it just seems like I would end up putting more time and effort into the friendship. And I've done that with general relationships. And, it's kind of a normal Cancerian type of quality, is we put a lot of time and effort. And I've gotten to the point in my life where I feel like I don't need friends, I'm good with myself, and I do feel like, when it comes to my toxic traits or when it comes to my negative aspects of myself, I could automatically be, if I choose, to be a Queen of Hearts, where the dominant side of myself wants to be controlling or wants to be in some way control of things and situations, which is not a good quality. But I feel like when we accept those negative qualities about ourselves, whether it is the Queen of Hearts or another aspect of ourselves, which something that I've gotten really interested in is the topic of Lilith. And Lilith was the second wife of Adam. So what Eve could not do, Lilith could do. But also too, there's a part where Lilith, of what I know, she to me has kind of an aspect of the Queen of Hearts, of what I see as the Queen of Hearts, because she does what she wants. She doesn't live by anybody's standards or rules. She lives by her own set of rules and laws and regulations. Now, I don't feel like you should just blatantly do whatever you want and go against the law, but you know what I mean. Live by your own rules of your own guidance, not live by society's um, way of doing things. But of course, don't kill people or don't commit a crime, of course. But like in your own way, um, live by your own standards. And I feel like that's important as I'm almost 30 years old, I've grown into becoming this type of woman. Um, Now, when it comes to relationships and friendships, and I'm the type of person I like to subtly show who I am to people, especially if I'm getting to know them. I do feel like it's really hard and it can get very complicated when it comes to people and relationships because as a Cancer, and I'm not trying to label it as me being a zodiac Cancer, um, I tend to get really attached to people and I am a very attractive to many people. But also too, I understand that the fact that I can't keep giving to friendships if I feel like in some way they're not giving back. And I've struggled that for many times where, and I'm sure many of you have, where you feel like you overgive in situations or it becomes toxic and then you lose a part of yourself, which is not good. And I feel like a lot of people do that and they don't give back to themselves. They overgive, which can be a toxic trait to have. But the thing is, I see a lot of value in people, especially relationships and friendships, is that the only people that I can really open up to is those who I feel safe and that I can openly be myself without judgment. And that's been a thing of the past where a lot of people I couldn't open up to because judgment would be speaking out of their mouth. And I feel like that's kind of disrespectful. And something else I wrote on the post that didn't get through is a lot of people make the emphasis, and I'm just going to say it, not calling anybody out, but I feel like I need to say it. A lot of people want respect, or a lot of people use the term, and it annoys the fire out of me because it's like we're all humans here. We're all in some way that need to feel like we're loved in some way. It's just a human desire to want to feel love. But I feel like the problem a lot of people use when they use the term like this, and it gets under my skin, is when they say respect is earned. Well, the truth of the matter is it's not the fact that respect is earned. It's the fact that we're all humans. We're all going through many different experiences in our lifetime and in past lifetimes, that if you want to be treated a certain way, okay, think about this. If you want to be treated, let's say, respected by your peers or respected by people, how can you do that if you're treating people like crap? And I just feel like when people use that term, respect is earned. Well, it's really not. I mean, maybe it is to you, which I'm not judging anyone who feels like that, but I do feel like everyone, at the end of the day, we're humans. We make mistakes. We make tremendous outcomes of those decisions and consequences, and we have to realize that we're only humans. And there's no one of us that's perfect. And I feel like at the end of the day, we all want to be loved and respected. And I feel like when it comes down to the whole respect thing, is we all want to be respected. It's not about being earned. It's like you're trying to get people to want to earn that type of loyalty to you and respect, when it's just a human thing to want to be respected. So if you want to feel respected, in my opinion, you should treat people with the same respect, because we're all, at the end of the day, mirrors of one another. So whatever you see in me and you don't like or whatever, take it up to yourself, I guess. But when it comes to being respected, that's just a human emotion. We all want to feel that. So why not treat everybody with respect? It's not a game. It's not something like I think I'll respect you today. No, it's just actually a choice. Just like a choice, you love people. Well, are you going to respect people at the store just because they skip in line? But you don't know if they've had a bad day. That's the thing. You treat people with kindness, and that's something a lot of people don't understand about cancers, is that we will tolerate a lot of BS in people's life, but also too, we're not going to treat you like crap. I mean, there's occasionally, yes, we all make mistakes, we all have treated people horribly, but at the same time, we're only humans. And I feel like people need to get away with the idea that respect needs to be earned. You can dislike and disapprove of people, but at the same time, you should never disrespect anyone or think that they have to achieve your respect and loyalty. And I feel like when it comes to the loyalty part, people show who their true colors are, or show who they truly are in time, and that's my thing. A lot of people may not understand this about me, but there is an aspect of myself where I do test people's loyalty. And I don't demand people's loyalty. I just, if I do certain things, how are people going to react? And it's not so much caring what people think. It's just, it's like, for example, I dealt with this a year ago or two where it was my birthday. And I was really close with some people at the time. And I know it's not a big deal to somebody, but to me it really was at the time, that these people, I claim that they were my friends, so-called, but at the end of the day, they showed their true color. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it's probably a crazy thing to say. You shouldn't always get people's approval, or you need this or whatever, but I felt like it was a big thing to me when people wish me a happy birthday. And it's even a bigger thing when people don't. It makes me feel like like shitty because no one recognized me. And it's not a bad thing to want to feel recognized. It's not a selfish thing. I just feel like it's a thought that counts. And I'm over that. I really am. It's just I'm stating a fact that it's the little things that counts when people remember your birthday. Even, if you may not be a birthday person, it's the thought that counts, that people actually remember your birthday, and take that day out to honor you. But I feel like when it comes to respect, now I do feel like if people really done you wrong, or you feel like people done you wrong and they don't deserve your respect, they better earn your respect and blah blah blah. Well, don't they want the same thing from you in some way? Because at the end of the day, we're all mirrors. And I feel like the best revenge you can give to people who've treated you so poorly or misunderstood you, because I've been through that. I've honestly been through that, where people mistreated me, people misunderstood me. The best thing you can do in revenge of those people who've hurt you is love them and forgive them. It doesn't mean you have to, be with them 24/7, talk to them 24/7. It's just you have peace in your heart that despite what they've done to you or made you feel, that you can love people. Because at the end of the day, everything we see around us is more of an illusion. Our perception is more of illusion. Some things may be true in that aspect, but the only thing that's really true at the end of the day is love. Love doesn't have conditions. Love doesn't have expectations. Like, if you do this, then I'll love you. Or if you don't follow every guideline I want you to follow, then I can't love you. That's not love. That's half-ass. I'm just going to be frank with you guys. But when it comes to the darker aspect of ourselves, I feel like a lot of people live in the fear of it. Like, they don't want to touch the hot stove because they're afraid of getting burned. But at the same time, it's just your perception. If you think the hot stove is going to burn you, it's going to burn you. But at the same time, when it comes to the darker aspects, it's something to not necessarily become the dark part of yourself, but be willing to say that I'm okay with the flaws that I have. I'm okay with the dark aspect of myself that may not be good to show to people, but have a mutual understanding that even that dark aspect of yourself needs to be loved and feel loved in some way and respected, and needs to understand, I could automatically be a queen of hearts and be nasty and cruel to people if I choose to be. Or I can use that power, that ability to be more confident and have like somewhat of a queen-like energy, that I am going to be empowered. Not for the ego's sake, but just be empowered and confident that I am who I am. And, I'm not looking for approval. And a lot of people look for approval for the wrong reason. They want to be seen and heard, which I get it. But for me, I learned that I will subtly be who I am around people. But when it is the right time, I will show my true colors. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying, like, if I don't really know people, I won't really show everything about me. And I just feel like being subtle about things, I guess it could be a negative trait. I mean, I do feel like being honest with people, of course, is the goal to do. But not everybody needs to know every aspect of yourself, the good and the bad self of yourself. But I do feel like, yes, first of all, you need to be honest with yourself and be willing to accept every inkling of yourself. Because I feel like if we hide that aspect, if we don't recognize it for what it is, we are only denying ourselves of true love and accepting ourselves at every potential. And, I just want to share that aspect of something I've learned about, Lilith and the Queen of Hearts, is there are a lot of negative traits like with the Queen of Hearts, but it's about being empowerment. It's about taking the darkness not as a bad thing or something to be feared, but using the energies in a wise, respectful manner to understand that we all have that Lilith in us in some form. And in some way, I feel like we need to accept her. And we need to accept the light part of ourselves, the part that wants to shine and wants to help people and want to be kind to people and wants to, in some way, I'm trying to think of the word, in some way change the world, not by being loud and obnoxious, but change the world subtly. And I recently heard a motivation video, and I thought it was really cool that it's not about being loud or being the best or being the great at something. It's about subtly showing up and being who you authentically are, and it will speak for itself. And I just feel like it's about being subtly irresistible to the world in some way. If you're using the Lilith energy, it's not about being boisterous. And I feel like a lot of people hunger attention, which is a normal thing to do. But I feel like it's about being subtle and not showing all of your cards. Then it's like if you show all of your cards to everybody, then there's no mystery to you. And it becomes kind of annoying, like we know everything there is about this person, what's more for the imagination. Which some people may not agree about certain things, which is fine, but I don't know. I'd rather be subtle about certain things, especially when it comes to those parts I'm learning about myself and accepting about myself, than be loud and boisterous. Just saying. And it goes the same way about being subtly kind to people without killing or cutting their heads off. Anyways, I thought I would share that. Maybe food for thought. I was gonna post about it, but for some reason the post didn't go through with my new profile picture. Anyways, enough said. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.